The rain-smeared window reflected my face, a ghost of exhaustion and doubt, as the words hit me like a fist to the chest. I'm engaged to someone else. We've been seeing each other for months. Sarah's voice, soft yet unyielding, cut through the hum of the cafe's espresso machine. Her hazel eyes, once my anchor, now flickered with something foreign. Defiance, maybe guilt. The ceramic mug in my hands burned my palms, but I couldn't let go. It was the only thing grounding me as the world tilted. We'd been together for 3 years, Sarah and I. 3 years of late-night talks in our cramped apartment. Her laughter filling the spaces where my insecurities lived. I thought I knew her. Every scar, every half-spoken dream. But now, sitting across from her in this dimly lit cafe, the air thick with the scent of roasted coffee and wet coats, I realized I'd been loving a stranger. It started with small things, didn't it? The way she'd linger on her phone, her thumb hesitating before locking the screen. The late nights at work that stretched longer than her graphic designer job ever demanded. I'd brushed it off, chalked it up to stress, to her ambition. She's just busy, I told myself, ignoring the prickle of unease that crept up my spine when she'd smile too quickly, too brightly at my questions. But doubt is a slow poison, seeping into the cracks of trust until they splinter. Why? The word scraped out of me, raw and jagged. I hated how small it sounded, how it betrayed the storm raging inside. My fingers tightened around the mug, the heat searing now, a punishment I deserved for being so blind. Sarah leaned back, her chair creaking under the weight of her confession. Her hands, once so familiar in mine, now twisted a napkin into knots. I didn't mean for it to happen, Ethan, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. It was just a moment. A conversation at a conference. He listened, really listened, and I listened. I cut her off, my voice rising despite the ache in my throat. I listened, Sarah. Every night, every fight, every time you cried about your dad or your deadlines. I was there. The couple at the next table glanced over, their murmurs fading as my words hung in the air. I didn't care. Let them stare. Her eyes glistened, but no tears fell. You were, she admitted, her gaze dropping to the table. But it's different. With him it's effortless. I don't have to explain myself. The words landed like shards of glass. Effortless. Was I work? Was our love a chore? My mind spiraled, replaying moments I'd thought were ours alone. Her head on my chest during thunderstorms, the way she'd hum off-key while cooking. Had she been thinking of him then? Had she been comparing us? I wanted to scream, to demand his name, to know what he had that I didn't. But the question stuck in my throat, heavy with the fear of her answer. Instead I asked, when did it start? My voice was steady now, a lie to mask the chaos inside. 6 months ago, she said, her fingers stilling on the napkin. At the Seattle Design Expo. He's a speaker there, a creative director. We kept in touch, and it just grew. 6 months. Half a year of lies woven into our life. I thought of the weekend she'd gone to that expo, how she'd come back glowing, talking about inspiration and new ideas. I'd been proud, hadn't I? Proud of her passion, her drive. Now that memory soured, tainted by the truth. The cafe's warmth felt suffocating now, the chatter around us a dull roar. Rain battered the windows, mirroring the tempest in my chest. I leaned forward, my elbows digging into the table's worn wood. Did you ever think about me? I asked, hating the vulnerability in my voice. When you were with him, did I even cross your mind? Her silence was an answer, sharper than any words. She looked away, her jaw tight, and I saw it, the guilt she couldn't hide. It wasn't just betrayal. It was the erasure of me, of us. My chest ached, not with anger now, but with the weight of being forgotten. I'm sorry, Ethan, she said finally, her voice breaking. I didn't want to hurt you. I thought I could keep it separate, that it wouldn't touch us. But then he proposed and I realized. She trailed off, her hands trembling now. Realized what? I pressed, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might crack my ribs. That you love him. That I'm not enough. Her eyes met mine, and for a moment I saw the Sarah I'd fallen for. Open, unguarded, the woman who'd once promised me forever. "I still love you," she whispered. "But I love him too. And I can't choose." The confession hung between us, a blade suspended mid-air. I wanted to hate her, to call her selfish, cruel. But the truth was Messier. I saw it in her eyes, the war between guilt and desire, the pull of something new against the weight of our history. She wasn't a villain, not entirely. She was human, flawed, and that made it hurt more. I stood, my chair scraping against the floor, the sound jarring in the quiet cafe. "You don't get to do this," I said, my voice low but steady. "You don't get to love us both and expect me to stay." My hands shook as I grabbed my coat, the fabric damp from the rain outside. I needed air, space, anything to escape the suffocating truth. "Ethan, wait," she called, but I was already moving, pushing through the door into the storm. The rain stung my face, cold and relentless, but it felt right, like the world was finally honest. I walked, my boots splashing through puddles, my mind a tangle of rage and grief. I wanted to go back, to fight for her, to beg. But what was there to fight for? A love split in two. Hours later, soaked and shivering, I found myself outside our apartment. The key felt heavy in my pocket, a relic of a life that no longer existed. I didn't go in. Instead, I stood there, staring at the window where we'd hung fairy lights last Christmas, their glow now mocking me. My phone buzzed, Sarah's name lighting up the screen. I didn't answer. Not yet. Then, a shadow moved behind the glass, a man's silhouette, unfamiliar, broad-shouldered. My breath caught, my heart lurching as the truth sharpened into focus. He was here, in our home, in our life. The betrayal wasn't just words anymore. It was real, tangible, standing where I should have been. I turned away, the rain swallowing my tears. I'd loved her with everything I had, but love wasn't enough to hold someone who'd already let go. As I walked into the night, the city's lights blurred through the storm, and I realized the twist wasn't her engagement. It was that I'd never seen her clearly until now.